I never thought the people I once called family would be the reason I lost everything, my home, my dignity, even my name. Tell me honestly, if your husband's family pushed you to your breaking point, would you stay silent or fight back? Because when it happened to me, I chose to fight, and I made sure they'd never forget the day they underestimated me. It all began 3 years ago when I married Asen. He was charming, respectful, and everything a girl dreams of. His family welcomed me with wide smiles and warm words, and I genuinely believed I'd found my second home. His mother, in particular, treated me like her own daughter. At least, that's what I thought. She would hold my hand and say, "You're the daughter I never had." I believed her. I trusted her. I had no idea those same hands would later be the ones to throw me out of that house with nothing but my tears. At first, everything seemed perfect. We lived in their family home, a big, beautiful house filled with laughter, shared meals, and what I thought was love. I woke up every morning excited to help my mother, in-law cook, to chat with my sister, in-law about her college plans. I did everything to fit in to be the good daughter-in-law, but slowly things started to change. My mother-in-law began correcting me over the smallest things, the way I dressed, the way I spoke, even how much salt I used in the food. Asen likes his meals this way. She'd snap, her tone turning sharp. I brushed it off, thinking it was just adjustment. But those corrections turned into criticisms, and those criticisms became insults whispered behind closed doors. One evening, I overheard her talking to Asen's sister in the kitchen. "She's not good enough for him," she said. "We should have chosen someone with a better family, someone with a dowry." My heart dropped. My parents weren't rich, but they raised me with love and respect. Hearing her talk about my worth as if it was measured in money shattered something inside me. I wanted to confront her, but I didn't want to create problems for Asen. So I stayed silent. That was my first mistake. Weeks passed and her behavior got worse. She'd give me extra chores, lie about things I hadn't done, and then act innocent when Asen came home. "Your wife forgets her responsibilities," she'd say sweetly while I stood there, trying not to cry. And Asen, my husband, my supposed partner, just believed her. He never asked for my side. Slowly, I started losing him too. He spent more time at work, less time with me. When he was home, he was distant, cold, almost like a stranger. My sister-in-law joined in too, making sarcastic remarks, posting pictures on social media that hinted I wasn't good enough for their family. It was all so subtle, so manipulative, that no outsider would ever guess what was happening behind those decorated walls. The breaking point came when I discovered the truth about the property. My father had given me a small piece of land as a gift after my wedding. It wasn't much, but it meant the world to me, a symbol of my independence. One day, my mother-in-law came to me with her usual fake kindness. "Beta, Asen needs to invest in a business. You should transfer your land temporarily to his name. It's all in the family." I hesitated, but she insisted. Asen assured me too, saying, "It's just paperwork, love. We're doing this for our future." So I signed. That was my second mistake. A month later, I found out they had sold it without telling me. My land, my only security, gone. When I confronted Asen, he didn't even look guilty. He said, "You're my wife. What's mine is yours, and what's yours is mine. Why are you making a scene?" His mother stood behind him, smirking. I realized then I was nothing but a tool for them. They wanted my name, my property, my obedience, not me. So that night, I packed a small bag and left. I didn't tell anyone, not even my parents. I stayed with a friend for a few days, crying every night, replaying every moment in my head. I had loved that man, I had trusted that family, and they had thrown me away like I was disposable. But the thing about pain is, it can destroy you or it can forge you into something stronger. I chose the latter. I went back to my father, and for months I rebuilt myself piece by piece. I got a job at a local firm, saved every penny, and started studying business law in the evenings. I learned how contracts work, how property rights function, everything I should have known before I signed that cursed document. Every night, I imagined the day I'd face them again, not with tears this time, but with power. Before I tell you what I did next, I want you to pause and tell me, if your in-laws stole everything from you and your husband stood by them, would you forgive or fight back? I really want to know what you'd have done in my shoes, because here's what I did. After 2 years of silence, I returned not to their home, but to their world. I had saved enough money to start my own small interior design business. I named it Nea Ongen, which means new home. It grew faster than I ever imagined. My clients loved my designs, my work ethic, and soon I was working with developers and investors, some of whom happened to be the same people my in-laws desperately wanted to impress. I kept my identity quiet at first, but fate has a funny way of circling back. One day, I got a call from a real estate developer. He wanted Nea Ongen to design the interiors for a luxury home project. When he sent me the details, my heart nearly stopped. The project owner was none other than my former mother-in-law. They were building a new property under her name. I smiled for the first time in a long time. I accepted the contract. When we met, her face turned pale. "You," she stammered, clutching her purse. I looked her in the eye and said, "Yes, me, the daughter you never had." She tried to laugh it off, pretending the past was forgotten, but I didn't let her. I played it professional, polite, but every word I spoke was laced with quiet power. She needed my company for the project's approval, and I made sure every term favored my business. She had no choice but to sign. Weeks later, as the work progressed, I learned from one of the workers that they were facing financial trouble. Their investments had failed, and they needed this project to succeed. That's when I made my move. I sent a legal notice, a claim regarding the illegal sale of my land. With all the documents I had collected and the legal knowledge I'd gained, I built an airtight case. My land had been sold without my consent, and I wanted it back, or compensation equivalent to its market value, which had tripled by now. They panicked. Austin called me after years. His voice trembled. "Why are you doing this? We're family." I laughed bitterly. Family doesn't steal from each other. His mother tried calling too, begging for a settlement, even crying over the phone. But I didn't bend this time. I had cried enough for all of them. The case went to court, and it didn't last long. The evidence was clear. They were ordered to return the full value of my property, plus damages, watching their faces as the judge read the verdict. I can't describe it. It wasn't joy, it wasn't revenge, it was justice. A few months later, word spread that their house, the one I was once thrown out of, had to be sold to cover their debts. The same house I used to clean, the same rooms where I was humiliated. I walked past it one last time, holding my head high. My business kept growing. I bought a new house, small but mine. I filled it with warmth, peace, and everything that had been missing before. Sometimes, at night, I still think about Austin. I wonder if he ever regrets losing me. But then I remind myself that some people don't deserve second chances. They deserve the lesson that losing you was the biggest mistake they ever made. I've learned that silence is dangerous. When you let others define your worth, they'll always underestimate you. But when you rise, when you take back control, they have no choice but to face the woman they tried to destroy. And that's the sweetest revenge. If you've ever been betrayed by family, you know how deep that cut goes. But trust me, healing doesn't come from hurting them back. It comes from proving that they can't break you. So tell me, was I wrong to fight back, or did I simply do what any woman should when she's been pushed too far? If you were on my side, like this video, because your support means everything. Subscribe for more stories like mine and share your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear how you would have handled it. Until next time, Remember, never let betrayal define your story. Make it the reason you rise. I'll see you all in the next one.